Hello viewers, welcome to the digital class organized by UN Autonomous College of Science and Technology, Adaspur. I am Dr. Lulumina Das, Department of Psychology. Today, I am going to discuss about a very relevant topic of psychology, that is perception. We will first discuss about the perception, then process of perception, and lastly we will discuss about errors in perception. Perception, then processes of perception and errors in perception. So, let us begin with what is perception. Perception is one of the many cognitive processes which help us to acquire information about the external environment. That means we get interacted with our environment through the process of perception. Our environment consists of many objects and events which constantly excite us through our sense organ, and our first interaction with the environment begins when an external stimulus gets sensed, organized, attended and perceived. So, perception is the basic mechanism through which we get sense about the world around us, and it is the primary cognitive process upon which other mental processes like learning, memory, thinking, reasoning, problem solving are based. So, for perception, sensation is necessary, and we get this sensation through our sense organs. We know that there are different sense organs in our body such as eyes, nose, ear, tongue, skin, etc. We will discuss it about later, and we get the information from the external environment through this sense organ. Then this information must be transmitted to the brain for further processing. So, getting information from the external environment through any one of our sense organ is called sensation. Is called sensation. Getting information through our sense organ is called sensation, which is a basic requirement for perception. But sensation is not enough to provide all the relevant information about any event or any object. The information must be organized, must be interpreted, otherwise it will of no use for us. So, perception is a process of identification, organization and interpretation of sensory information. Simply, we can say that when we add meaning to our sensory information or sensory input, that becomes perception. Sensation plus meaning is perception. I can give you some example that we know that sensation is a basic requirement for perception, and when we add meaning, that means when we add meaning to this sensation, that become perception. So, how we add meaning, that is how we understand our sensation or sensory information. Suppose that we see something flying in the sky, that is visual sensation. We know generally we have 5 types of sensation: visual, auditory, gustatory, tactual, olfactory. So, suppose we see that something flying in the sky, that is we get visual sensation. But when we try to understand what is that flying in the sky, whether it is a kite, whether it is a bird, whether it is an aeroplane, that becomes perception. That means we add some meaning to our sensation, which may depends on our past experience, on our learning process. That is perception. Another important thing which is required for perception is attention. First thing we require for perception is sensation. Second, a very important process which required for perception is attention. So, the process of perception begins with a stimulus, then sensation, then attention, and lastly perception. Perception is a complicated mental process. It is not a mechanical process like sensation, but sensation is the foundation for perception. So, here we can say sensation is a mechanical process, attention is a filtering process, and how it is a filtering process we discuss it later, and perception is an integrative process which make us aware about the world around us. And suppose that perception, another feature of perception is that it differs from person to person. The same thing is perceived differently by different individual, because it depends on our interpretation, our understanding, our interest, belief, etc. That is why perception differs from person to person. So, here we have a clear picture about perception. What is perception? That means interpretation of sensation. When we have a clear understanding about our sensory information which we get through our sense organ like eyes, ears, nose, etc., that becomes perception. Okay? Then we will discuss about what are the processes that involve inside the perception. There are 4 types of processes involved in perception. So, first process is receptive process, that we know that we get information from the external environment through our different sense organ like eyes, nose, ear, tongue and skin. So, also we get information about the internal condition of our body through our kinesthetic, vestibular and organic sense organ. This sense organ help us to acquire information about the external environment. So, we have different sensation, different kinds of sensation and perception. When our eyes get stimulated, we have visual sensation and perception. When our ears get stimulated, we have auditory sensation and perception. But that information must be transmitted to the brain for further processing. So, when we receive some information through our visual receptor, that is retina in the eye, that information must be transmitted to the primary visual cortex of the occipital lobe for further processing, where interpretation is made, meaning is added to our sensation. So, also if we receive something through our auditory receptor, then that information must be transmitted to the temporal lobe of the cortex. So, in this way our receptor organ help us to get information from the external environment. Next is, it is a selective process. Perception is a selective process. At every moment, large number of stimuli affect us, impinge upon us, but we do not perceive all stimuli. We select some stimuli or one stimulus, perceive it and reject other stimuli. So, this process of selecting one stimulus or few number of stimuli from among a large number of stimuli is called attention. Attention is a pre-requirement for perception, because without attention there is no perception. I want to give one example. Suppose you are inside the class attending to a lecture. You seem to be very carefully attending to the lecture, but you may not be actually doing so, because you are not attending to the lecture. So, you are not understanding what the teacher is teaching, because you are attending to something else, to the friends outside the classroom. That's why you are not understanding what is teaching inside the class. Therefore, for understanding, for perception, attention is necessary. And another feature of attention is that it shifts its focus from one object to another, which depends on two factors. One is objective factor, another is subjective factor, which due to which we shift our attention from one object to another object. Inside the objective factor, there are color, brightness, contrast and intensity, novelty, size, shape, which attract our attention. Suppose I would like to give one example. Suppose advertising agency, they use this size, shape, color, brightness to attract the viewers. Suppose how we pay attention to something by neglecting others. Suppose 3 boys are coming or 3 students are coming, that among 3s, 2s are very lean and thin and 1 boy is very fat. So, immediately our attention draws toward that fat boy. This is one example of size, how size of the object attract our attention. So, also color, brightness, intensity, novelty, something new always attract our attention. This is one factor. Another is subjective factor or personal factor, which includes our belief, our interest, our attitude, our mental set. All these affect our attention. That is, there is a saying that we perceive as we are, not the things are, because our perception depends on our mental set. That means our mental preparedness, our attitude. We are prepared to perceive something in a way, so that we perceive that thing in that way. That's why there is individual differences in perception. The same thing is perceived by 2 persons in a different way, because it depends on our own interpretation, our own attitude, our own mental set, our own past experience, learning, etc. So, these are comes under subjective factor. This is all about the selective process, that how attention help us to select some stimuli and reject others, which is a prerequisite for perception. And third process is that perception is a symbolic process. Symbol is the substitute for an object or any event. In perception, we do not use any object in its actual form. We use the symbol of that object. And symbol in psychology, we say it as image, which is a cognitive factor. Because whenever we perceive some object, the symbol or image of that object retain in our brain in the form of brain trace. Suppose I will ask you to draw the picture of a mango. How can you draw the picture of a mango even if it is not before you right now? Because you perceive the mango before, and the symbol or image of that object already written in your brain. So, whenever we perceive something, directly we do not retain the object in our brain, we retain the symbol or image of that object in our brain. Last, perception is an affective process. So, whenever we perceive something, some feelings immediately attached to it, may be pleasant, may be unpleasant. We may like it, we may dislike it. Whenever we perceive a mango, a feeling, a pleasant feeling immediately associated with it. and this feeling, we can say affection, that depends on our past experience, our acquaintance with that object or with that event. For that, whenever we hear the name of our close friend or we see a close friend, very intimate friend, we hear the name of that friend, immediately a pleasant feeling comes to our mind. And when we hear the name of an enemy, immediately an unpleasant feeling comes to our mind. So, our perception also depends on our emotion, our feeling. Our perception always associated with that emotion, that feeling. Whatever we perceive and feeling may be pleasant, may be unpleasant, which depends on our acquaintance, on our past experience, that is associated with it. So, these are all about the processes of perception, that is receptive process, selective process and symbolic process and affective process. Next, we will discuss about the errors in perception. Next, we will discuss about errors in perception. We know that perception is the interpretation of sensation, but sometimes there is misinterpretation of sensation, or we wrongly interpret some of the sensory information, and that misinterpretation of sensory information is known as perceptual errors or errors in perception. Generally, there are two types of errors in perception. One is illusion, another is hallucination. These are two types of errors when we misinterpret any type of sensory information. So, what is illusion? Illusion is a wrong perception and hallucination is a false perception. I must clarify what is illusion and hallucination, then I come to illusion. That is, illusion is universal and illusion is normal, but hallucination is abnormal. In illusion, an external object is present, but in hallucination there is no external object is present. For example, perceiving a rope as a snake is an example, best example of illusion, when we perceive a rope as a snake, but perceiving a ghost at night is the example of hallucination. So, illusion is normal and it is universal, but hallucination occurs only to those who are alcoholic, who are drug addicted, who are mentally ill, because without any stimulus they see a stimulus, that is hallucination, that is false perception, we can say. Without any object, without any event, we perceive some event or some object, that is hallucination. But in illusion, there is a object is always present, we perceive them wrongly. Illusion occurs due to many factors. Here we discuss about only three factors, that is, one is objective factor, second one is personal or psychological factor, and third one is cultural factor. Here I can give another example of illusion. Suppose moon, we can take the example of moon. Moon during the time of evening near the horizon looks bigger than in the midnight when it is over our head. It looks bigger, but actually size of the moon does not change, but our sense organ deceive us. We perceive the moon wrongly. we misinterpret this type of sensual information. That is why moon during the time of evening near the horizon looks bigger than when the moon at the midnight, when it is over our head. And illusion occurs due to three factors. One is objective, another is personal or psychological factor, third one is cultural factor. So, first one is objective factor. Objective factor or stimulus factor. In this, what happened? The objects or stimulus are presented before us in such a way that we perceive them wrongly. For example, I will give two examples of objective factor, how we perceive. There are more than 200 types of illusion have been discovered, but here we discuss only about the visual illusion only. There is auditory illusion, tactual illusion also exist, but here we only discuss about the visual illusion and how objective factor or stimulus factor, that objects or stimulus presented before us in such a way that we perceive them wrongly. First illusion is Muller-Lyer illusion. That is a beautiful example. Muller-Lyer, two psychologists, Muller and Lyer, they discovered this type of illusion. Suppose there are two lines, one is arrow headed, another is feather headed. This is Muller-Lyer illusion. This line is arrow headed line, this is feather headed line. What happens that here, if we perceive these two lines, feather headed line will looks longer than the arrow headed line, but actually the length of the both the lines are same, because the feature or the characteristics of the object presented before us in such a way we perceive them wrongly. This is one type of illusion. Another illusion I can give the example, that is horizontal and vertical illusion. This is a horizontal line and this is a vertical line. So, here the vertical line looks longer than the horizontal line, but actually if we measure the length of both the lines, the length of both lines are same, but the object is presented before us in such a way that we perceive them wrongly. This is horizontal vertical illusion, and which comes under objective factor or stimulus. There are so many other examples are there of objective factors or stimulus factor, because the objects or stimulus are presented in such a way that we perceive them wrongly. Then next one is personal or psychological factor. If a woman lost her son in a snake bite, she may perceive a rope as a snake. This is due to personal factor. Or in the low illumination, in the low light, we all also sometimes perceive a rope as a snake. And sometimes when we become mentally weak, we perceive something wrongly. This is due to personal or psychological factor, we perceive something wrongly, and that is also an example of illusion. And last one is cultural factor. We know that perception, we know that illusion is universal. It can happen to everybody, but there is a tribe in South Africa known as Zulu tribe. They do not have this Muller-Lyer illusion, because we perceive as feather-headed line looks longer than arrow, but they say both line, length of both line are same. They do not have this type of illusion, because the reason is that they are tribal people and they are not acquainted with the carpenterized rectangular object. They are hot, they are utensils, they are weapons, they are usable things, all are circular in shape. Because they are much more acquainted with the circular shape and not acquainted with the carpenterized rectangular shape, they never have this type of illusion. Why I mention here? Because I say that illusion is universal, but there is a tribe in South Africa, that is Zulu tribe, they do not have molar layer illusion. So, it is about the cultural factor, how it affect our illusion. Next comes to hallucination, that we know that illusion is a wrong perception, but hallucination is a false perception. Without any object, without any event, we hear sound, we see things, that is hallucination, and it is not at all normal. It only occurs to people who are mentally sick, particularly schizophrenic patients. They have hallucination, both visual and auditory. They talk with people as if they are in front of them. Actually, there is nobody in front of them. They see people, they see event, they see object without the presence of the object. So, it is a false perception. Without any object, without any event, we see, we perceive, we hear things or object. And the main difference between illusion and hallucination, there are different types of differences. That the first thing, in illusion is a wrong perception and hallucination is a false perception. Second thing, in illusion an object is present, but in hallucination there is no object. Third difference is that illusion is universal, it happens to everybody, but in hallucination is abnormal. It occurs only to those who are mentally sick, abnormal, who are alcoholic or drug addicted. These are some of the differences between illusion and hallucination. So, today we are discussed about perception, processes of perception and errors of perception. In the next class, we will discuss about more about perception. Thank you for patience hearing. Thank you once again.